What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the left side of the map in the blue color, playing as Thor. His name is the Rapl. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Loki. His name is Matreiuss. Oh, baby. We've got ourselves a game here, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely love this one. Matreiuss here playing as Loki against Thor on Mediterranean. We don't see this here very often because in tournaments, generally players get to know what map they're playing on beforehand. And if they see Mediterranean, no one's ever going to pick. There might be a crazy person who decides to pick Thor once in a while on Mediterranean. He's actually decent on this map, if we're completely honest. There are some Mediterranean spawns where the matchup is possible to win. I'm not saying that it's a guaranteed win. I'm saying that there are some spawns on Mediterranean where against, say, Zeus or Hades, probably more like Hades, probably Zeus is less winnable, but maybe against a Hades where Thor has a chance, as opposed to Thor just straight losing on this map. So there are some crazy people who want to give that one a go. But Loki on this map, very, very rare. And I do think that Loki, while it might seem a little bit crazy, Loki does have a slight edge over Thor on this map, and that edge is that he's got a really, really nice water transition where he can jump off of the water and start pounding the Loki player with or the Thor player with Herser, and that can be kind of tough to hold. Whereas the Thor player has got a really, really nice water fight. So he might put a lot of really good pressure on and cause some problems. Now, in the end here, I do think that both players should be going Forseti here. Now, we might see Rapl make a slight mistake and go Freya, just due to maybe lack of experience here. The reason why Forseti is so absurdly good is because Forest Fire really doesn't do that much damage. The Troll counters the Valkyrie really, really nicely in the main base. And you get yourself access to Healing Spring, which you can chuck onto the water and you can heal up your boats, which is really, really huge value on this sort of a map. It means you can just play defensively and your opponent will push in and try and get some damage done, but you can defend really, really easily. So Forseti, definitely the god that you should be picking on this map, in my opinion. But we'll see what these players are going to go for. Rapl really wants a dwarf there. He just managed to get that one out. As Matreiuss over here, getting his temple down. Just the one dock to start things off here. Now, when I'm playing Loki on this map and I'm playing Norse on this map, I do value getting my 3 docks up. Reason being is that I want to be able to protect all 3 parts of my fish as easily as I possibly can. But in this situation, Matreiuss here has got this dock that's actually covering 2 fishing spots, so he doesn't need it as much, though at some point he's going to be wanting to put down a 3rd dock for production nonetheless, as we do see Forseti coming through for Matreiuss. Rapl, on the other hand, he is indeed going for the Freya. Now, we'll have to wait and see, but I really don't think that this is going to get Rapl the value that he expects out of it. Now, Freya against like a Greek god where you pick off a storehouse, you might not think that 50 wood is that useful, but it's 50 wood and rebuilding the storehouse. So it ends up looking more like 70 wood, more like 100 wood, lots of gather time going down the drain. But against Norse, you forest fire this position, they just leave. They just move to a different location and they don't lose the ox cart. The villagers, yeah, they do lose a little bit of wood on the walking time to get to a different forest, but it's not that big of a deal. And your Valkyrie just gets shooed away by either a Herser or a troll. And then you have to contend with the fact that your opponent is going to have full HP longboats for the rest of the game. So we'll see how it's going to go. But both players on their way. We do see Matreiuss. It's that second age there. And you can see he's got a lot of resources in the bank here. But he will be able to spend those fairly quickly. I do think he could have afforded that third dock, and it would be fine. Whereas Rapl, on the other hand, kind of struggling for gold at this moment. He does make maybe a slight mistake in building that dwarf straight away. I think not building the dwarf is generally the way to go. Does he have himself hand axe here? He does have hand axe here, so these dwarves are slightly inefficient on the wood compared to a gatherer, as Matreiuss does move forward here, going to be pushing the fishing ship back as Matreiuss in his main base. Houses coming up, Hersa spreading around his base. He does send the troll going to scout. Personally, if you've got the Hersa, just send your Ulfsark to scout, leave the Hersa in your main base, leave the troll in your main base. Is a very, very safe way to go about it, because if that troll gets spotted by a Valkyrie, it will get taken out. You don't want to be letting that be an opportunity for your opponent there. But luckily for Matreiuss, the Valkyrie is coming in the wrong way, and the Hersa here does spot that one as Rapl searching for somewhat of a forest fire. He does spot these villagers over here, but just 4 on that wood line as Matreiuss pushes forward here. Seeing what he can do. Great micro thus far. Generally speaking, even though these boats move at the same speed, I do think that it's just better as a Norse player, because they're moving slower and they do more damage than normal. It's just better to just focus fire. Just get all the DPS out, call it a day. As did the Valkyrie get picked off here? No, the Valkyrie still searching, does find this position here, and the villagers will be simply retreating. It does get a little bit more damage onto this position, but the villagers retreating into the sentry tower, pulling back, and Matreiuss's wood income slows down a little bit here, as we do see a cheeky Hersa coming in, causing some problems here for Matreiuss, as Matreiuss does turn around, starts shanking, and we do see the healing spring getting dropped here. Matreiuss needs to get all of his boats into range here, and those boats are going to come back up to full HP. Rapl, on the other hand, look at his boats. He's got himself very low HP boat by 3 here. Now, Rapl does have himself access to the Valkyrie, which does have a healing mechanic of her own. 7.5 HP per second there. Matreiuss's healing spring, however, is 3 HP per second, but heals multiple different boats. So at this point here, it can be healing 3 boats at 9 HP per second. So it's just better. It's just better in every way. As the fishing ship's getting taken out here, great micro here from Matreiuss, keeping those alive. Good awareness. As Rapl has to get pushed back. Matreiuss at 75 pop. Rapl now coming up to 75 pop himself. Now, at this point, the question needs to be asked when you're playing as every civilization, not just Thor, but it's a little bit more important with Thor, or a little bit more useful as Thor, is that when do you cut a longboat to get yourself copper shields? Rappel's got himself the Dwarven Armory up. I don't think he's cut any longboats just yet, but the answer is when you have 10 longboats, you should be getting yourself the copper shields upgrade. It's really, really important in these archer ship fights, and when you have 10 longboats and you get the copper shields upgrade, that effectively means you've got 11 longboats worth of HP, which ends up being enough for a huge amount of help on these sort of water fights. Honestly, same thing for Matreiuss, though. He has had a little bit of a struggle with his wood income, so he's not able to have afforded his armory just yet, but he should definitely be considering getting an armory down and getting that copper shields upgrade. However, one thing to keep in mind is it costs a little bit more. It's 150 wood plus 300 resources. So you're looking at a significant amount more longboats that you could have built instead of getting getting those upgrades. So you might have to consider it being more like 20 longboats rather than just the 10 that Thor can get away with. Now, if we take a look here, as Rapl actually managed to do that. Yes, he does. He's got himself 28% here on the armor. 21 boats there for Rapl to Matreiuss's 19. So a huge advantage here, in all honesty, for Rapl, considering he's also got that upgrade. Great micro there, pulling back, but you do need to almost ensure you bring those boats back immediately. One little micro trick you can do against top-level players who aren't paying attention, or who are paying attention, excuse me, is just pull the boats back and then shift click, like pull them back just a little bit, shift click onto the unit, shift click back to get them into the fight, and your opponent might refocus when they don't need to, and you're going to be able to keep that boat alive and get it back into the fight immediately. As Rapl at this point here, he's getting himself copper weapons. I'm less of a fan of the copper weapons upgrade here. It costs a lot of resources in the food department, and you could be starting to think about a town center at these sorts of points, especially, and also that bronze shields upgrade. It starts being like, well, maybe I should get a town center instead of getting this upgrade. But we see Matreiuss pushing in at this point here. He's spending his resources really, really nicely. As Rapl gets a little bit of damage done on these boats here. At this point here, we've got 23 boats for Matreiuss. Rapl, on the other hand, he's sitting at 18. Somehow, he's lost out quite a bit, but he does have the extra damage here. I'm not sure that's going to matter when it comes down to it. Numbers are still king on the water and in general in Age of Mythology. As the micro, though, from Rapl is coming in nicely here. We do see that Valkyrie is in range here to heal up, but it can be a little bit difficult to make that all happen as Matreiuss is still pushing forward here. 80 population for Rapl to 96 population for Matreiuss. He's still got the boat number here, the boat number advantage. Lots of really low HP boats here that have gotten away with it in this fight, though. Both players with lots of low HP boats in this one as well. As the longboats for Matreiuss do end up winning this fight here. And Rapl has to pull back or has to start thinking about where to go next in this fight. But losing the water is not something that's supposed to happen here for Thor. This is a huge win for Matreiuss. As if we take a look over here, Rapl is now out of gold. And one thing that I think that Matreiuss should be considering to do in this moment is saying, you know what? I'm going to allow Rapl to win the water if he wants. Stop production of the longboats. Go full send on the land. Barracks at the top. Barracks over here. Ready to hit all of this gold mine here. Hit this gold mine here. And he should be in a great position. He does not need to hold this water at all. In fact, losing these longboats at this point and replacing them with Herser would be very, very valuable, especially if he's gotten himself the Hall of Thanes upgrade, which he does not yet have the wood to research because he's continuing to buy stuff here as these longboats are moving back and forth on this position. We do see Rapl popping out on the longboats here, and now Matreiuss is going to have to make that decision. Does he want to continue fighting the water or not? As Rapl is at 84 population at this moment. He's got a handful of longboats here pushing back. As we do see the Herser searching around. How much of the map is Matreiuss scouted? Not lots at all. Matreiuss does get the scales of Kotoplopas, not really the most useful relic there. Reducing the myth unit crush vulnerability by 20% doesn't really help much at all. Maybe in a Titan fight, which is very, very rare in a Norse mirror. As the Herser are going to be retreating back. Rapl over here, pushing that one away, and Matreiuss here at this point looks like he is still producing longboats. He doesn't have a town center coming up. He doesn't have a whole lot of population, and now the armory upgrades which Rapl has managed to get are going to be a very, very big assistance because he's got because both players have hit that population cap, it seems. Well, Rappl's a little bit behind, but it's close enough to helping him out here. And now all these fishing ships are out for Matreiuss. Not going to help out, but imagine right now, instead of Matreiuss have built all of these longboats, Rapl having built all these longboats, and they're just being full population Herser moving forward, this game would be absolutely over in this instant. For Rapl, Matreiuss at this point, is he making this consideration? No, he's getting his town center. Just going to be taking it slowly. He's going to be losing the water nonetheless. This was always going to be the case here for Matreiuss. He was always going to be losing this water against the upgrades to some degree, but we do see Rapl having a retreat back, fighting underneath those docks. Not the best of decisions. There is time to grab the town center now, though, for Rapl moving forward here. The armory upgrades for Rapl. You can see down the bottom in the panel here, if you're really interested, 28% pierce armor means he's got his pierce armor upgrade. 7.7 means he's got his copper copper weapons upgrades. Whereas Matreiuss over here, he's got 0 upgrades for his armor. as the dwarves coming out here for Matreiuss. More dwarves coming out here as well. So just going for that full Loki shenanigans. Now, there is another question here. Is there any world in which you want to go for Njord here as Loki? I think the answer is mostly no. Just because just that Kraken, while it will help you win the water, I don't think you should be on the water anymore. But you could go Njord here with a big push on the land and cleaning up everything on the water at the same time, or at least holding the water with a very small amount of population. Could be a way to go, as Matreiuss does have himself the Hall of Thanes upgrade as well. As the Thrown Axeman going to be getting pushed back. Lots of units out now for Rapl as Matreiuss is searching around here. We do see the longboats coming back in onto this position, still behind in armory upgrades. As I mean, Rapl should just be taking these fights. He invested in the armory. When you invest in the armory, that's an investment that's not into your economy, so you should be trying to find value by taking fights that are obviously valued. And we see the most troll upgrade coming through here for Rapl. Burning Pitch is in. Now, Burning Pitch, you might seem amazing. Imagine a wooden boats fighting with fire arrows, but these wooden boats, they don't actually catch fire that badly, and therefore they don't give that much of a benefit in these fights. It does give 15% bonus damage or 15% bonus pierce damage, and a huge amount of damage versus buildings, but it's a big investment. Generally, it's better to just get yourself the Pierce upgrades, as Matreiuss microing nicely here. He's still got, well, how is his upgrade? How is his ships looking? He's still building these ships. Grabbing this forward town center is going to be huge over here for Matreiuss as this game moves on, as Rapl looks like, I mean, he's not able to win this fight here. He has to pull back, and he's like, why am I not winning these fights? Because that, well, I mean, it still gives you an assistance, nonetheless, but I think that the problem here for Rapl is he just needs more docks if he wants to win that water. He can go up to the heroic gauge here, some longhouses coming up as well. But Matreiuss about to be in the heroic gauge himself with 3 town centers in a 4-2 town center position, just not having that back town center up. As the longboats retreating back. Still great micro here from Matreiuss, managing that nicely as the town center comes up. We do see an Einir spawn, flaming weapons coming in, and now who wins the water at this point? 14 damage now. These are the real flaming arrows, as Matreiuss shows how to get flaming arrows the right way on the water here. 14 damage a second here for Matreiuss, or that's ×3 as well, as Rapl, he's got nowhere to run to. He's going to be fighting underneath this dock at this point, as Matreiuss cleans up all of these boats. He pushes back on this position as well. Villagers here for Rapl, jumping the food on this position, as we do see Matreiuss's longboats getting taken out. We've got some push through here for Matreiuss. He's ready to go to the Mythic Age as well. He's got the town centers up. Does he have a market coming up anywhere? Yes, he does. He does lose all of his longboats for the time being, but he's pushing into the main base of Rapl. Rapl at this point is going through Skadi, and he's also able to go Mythic Age here very quickly. So we'll see how that's going to go, as Matreiuss has lost all his navy. That means that Rappel's going to be able to push forward here. Funnily enough, it's probably time to not be building longboats. Once you hit the heroic age, I do wonder if it would be just better to build yourself hammer ships and just try and raid fishing ships and the like there. I don't know, as we do see a dragon ship coming out for Matreiuss. A little bit of a funny one there, but that's not going to help him out all too much. As Matreiuss, he's up through tier at this point, not going through hell. Bit of a surprise that will, 1, hurt the economy of Rapl, which will then 2, hurt the Ragnarok potential that Rappel's going to have, and 3, it's going to give Matreiuss access to the Jormungand Elva to take out the fish economy if a Ragnarok does end up coming through, and that's exactly what Rapl is probably thinking about doing here. He's getting his market up, and he's going to be going to the Mythic Age. We'll see if he does go through tier or not here. as he clicks up and Balder, God of Choice. No surprises where that's concerned. Matreiuss is going to be able to get himself that third town center here, or fourth town center here as well. Fortified town centers, and he's just going to have to figure out how he's going to defend this. We do see a temple up on this position. One option as well for Rapl with this Ragnarok would be to go for some sort of a longboat Ragnarok or a transport ship, a couple of transport ships to push them over into the main base of Matreiuss, because nothing's there. As we do see the Thor and Axeman pushing forward here. Rapl at this point, a decent amount of units, 39 wood, 22 gold, doesn't have any trade. This is a very all-in Ragnarok if Rappel's going to click it straight away. But the thing is, it might seem like you have to click it really fast. I don't know if you do need to, as the Fimbulwinter Wolves coming through here, hitting these villages. Rapl not paying attention here. He does hit the town bell, but this is going to be so many dead villagers on this position, and hitting the gold mine as well. You cannot get a better Fimbulwinter if you asked for it. If you could control the spawns, you would not get a better Fimbulwinter here, as the dwarves do manage to get to safety through that wall there. The villagers over here still getting chased away, and Matreiuss has just completely murdered the economy of Rapl with that Fimbulwinter. At this point, we have to check this out here in the stats. Civilian unit count has dropped down to 54 for Rapl. Still a considerable amount, but a lot of those at this point here are in fishing ships. 2, 5, 4. So he's probably down to 40 villages at this moment. In fact, 41 villages exactly here for Rapl, as the units here pushing forward, as Matreiuss wants to force out a Ragnarok here as fast as he possibly can. Matreiuss on the water also gets this Jormund Elver. Where is that bad boy? Where is the bad boy? I don't see him. Did he delete it? Oh, there he is, sitting on this position here. He can utilize that to help out, taking all the fishing ships down and everything else. His house is getting cleaned up on the top. Matreiuss is getting himself this fourth town center on the back here as the army pushes through here. Rapl still not wanting to click that Ragnarok just yet. He's at 103 of 130 population, as the Thor and Axeman pushing in onto this position, trying to take villages down before they turn into Ragnarok heroes. The Fire Giant is out, though, for Rapl. Rapl knows that his advantage in this game is going to be the fact he's Balder. He's got the Fire Giants. Matreiuss doesn't have a good myth unit in this game to deal with those Fire Giants. So, in a way here, if Rapl can just stabilize, he doesn't really need anything other than those Fire Giants to hold. Fire Giants, Throw an action, and you can hold here for a while and bank up some resources. But Rapl in this moment decides that the game is too far gone. He lost too much to that Fimbulwinter, and Matreiuss finds a very, very rare win on this Mediterranean map against Thor, showing how it's done to some degree. I'm interested, do we see the longboat production here? We do see the longboat production, and Matreiuss did produce a handful more than Rapl. I don't think that heavy longboat came in till much, much later. I'm interested in that kill loss, though. You've got no idea what it really looks like, because the units lost here for Matreiuss, that's mostly in the Fimbulwinter. Units killed, units lost, 124 here for Rapl. Lots of those were in villages from that Fimbulwinter as well. You just don't know what it actually is. Part of me feels like Rapl isn't actually lost here, in all honesty, just because he is Balder and he's got access to Fire Giants and 100 favor in the bank. That's the big thing that I'm looking at in this game. Take a look at what Matreiuss is doing. Matreiuss is fully on the water. He's only at 116 of 160 population. This game, in all honesty, isn't over. It's just the score difference is sitting here at this point, looking like it's this big simply because of the kill loss. Resource total, yeah, Matreiuss is going to be pushing in front, but the value of Fire Giant is so much more than 300 gold. So just getting these Fire Giants out and just sitting back and then maybe trying to push back onto town centers slowly here and then Ragnarocking after he's got like 5 Fire Giants out might have been a way back in for Rapl, but he didn't want to play it out. Matreiuss gets the dub. If you feel like it, do consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.